Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about whether or not you could use a healthcare proxy and or a power of attorney to put your loved one into treatment and to keep them there long enough so they can finally experience the miracle of recovery, and so that you, as the family, as their loved ones, can finally experience the miracle of recovery. So I wanted to talk to you about this because we do get asked this quite a bit. So let me take a minute or two just to explain to you, first of all, what is a healthcare proxy? What's a power of attorney versus, say, filing for guardianship or even the Marchman Act? So a healthcare proxy, as the name suggests, typically has to do with medical decisions. For instance, I become incapacitated. Perhaps I've been in a car accident or I've had a heart attack and I'm no longer conscious. I can't make medical decisions for myself. So I say, well, this person is my designated healthcare proxy and they now have the authority to make these types of medical decisions for me when I can't because perhaps I'm not conscious. Power of attorney, similarly situated, it typically has to do with financial decisions. So I become incapacitated, I'm not conscious, whatever, and I give the person, the recipient, the designee, certain powers to control my finances, pay my mortgage, pay off my car, whatever it happens to be. But you get the idea, right? This is authority that I knowingly, willingly give to somebody else or other people, whoever it happens to be, right? I might give the healthcare proxy to one person and the power of attorney to somebody else, but you get the idea. I'm giving this to you. Guardianship is something that you take from me. In other words, you go to court and you take that authority from me. In other words, for instance, you take my ability to say, I'm not going to treatment, and I no longer have that right. Now that right to decide if I'm going to treatment belongs to you. So you get to decide if I go to treatment. Even with a Marchman Act, that is where you go to court, get a court order, and you have a judge tell me, Mark, you're going to treatment. I know you don't want to go. I know you don't want to stay, but you are going. So you've got, on one hand, authority that I give to you, and on the other hand, authority that you take from me over my objection, potentially. And so then the question is, could you in theory use a healthcare proxy to put me into treatment? I guess in theory, and I say in theory because, in law school, we spend 3 years learning about theory, and then we spend the rest of our careers learning what actually is, how it actually works, which is why I put out all this content, right? Because you could read a Baker Act statute or a Marchman Act statute pretty much as well as I can. You don't need a law degree. The question is, how does it really work in the real world? What's the reality of the situation? And the reality of the situation is that if I've given you a healthcare proxy and you say, all right, Mark, you gave me the, you gave me the authority to put you into treatment, I'm going to turn around and say, well, first of all, I'm taking that away from you. I revoke it. I gave it to you. I can take it away. And second of all, you know what? I'm not going to treatment. Now what are you going to do? That's a very nice piece of paper that you have with ink on it and letters and all that stuff. And apparently there's some authority that I've given to you. But you know what? You can take it and put it where you know where, right? I'm not going. And so while it sounds nice, the truth of the matter is that a healthcare proxy and even a power of attorney, in the kinds of situations that we're dealing with, somebody with substance use, mental health issues, as a general rule, honestly, I don't think they're worth the paper they're written on. Others may disagree. I'm just telling you how it works in my world. Because if I was willing to go to treatment, you wouldn't need a healthcare proxy or a power of attorney, right? I'd just go and I'd be willing to stay long enough. But because I'm so sick, because you have been dealing with this for years and years and years and years, because I've been in and out of treatment centers, never stayed long enough to maintain recovery. I'm in and out in 7 to 10 days. I've even done one 30-day period. I relapsed in the first week that I was out. And by the way, I'm not taking those meds that the psychiatrist says I need to take. I don't want to take them. I'd just rather smoke marijuana and sit in my room, play video games all day. You get the idea. And so what I'm telling you is that if you are relying on me to give you the authority to force me into treatment, no, it's not going to happen. It just simply doesn't work. It really doesn't. And even if you had a healthcare proxy which gave you certain rights, if I say no, I'm not doing it, what are you going to do then? How do you enforce the supposed authority I've given you? Well, the way to do that is to go into court through the guardianship process, or even maybe Marchman Act, and enforce the rights that you believe you have. In other words, you're just going to take the rights. You're going to take the right that allows me to make decisions for myself because I'm not well. I'm sick. I need help. I have a disease. I need you to make the decision for me. I need you to decide to save me because I can't make that decision. If I could, I would do it, but I'm too sick. I need you to make the decision to save me. And I need you to take that authority from me, even though I don't want to give it to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope I'm getting this clear because we get this a lot. And so no, forget healthcare proxies and power of attorneys in this arena. Okay, I'm not saying in other arenas it wouldn't work. But I am saying in the behavioral health space, okay, when you have a loved one that has been sick for a long time and you need to get them into treatment and you need to make the decision for them before something tragic happens, or worse, the state makes it for you and puts them either in the criminal justice system or the mental health system. And if that happens, I promise you, you will not like that result if you ever get them back. So if you want to get your loved one into treatment, you got to make that decision for them. They can't make it. And they're sure as heck not going to give it to you. And even if they do, they're not going to comply with whatever they've given you anyway. So Guardianship Marchman Act are the way to go. And I'm happy to talk to you. We do them together. We do separate. I mean, tremendous tools. But forget healthcare proxies and powers of attorney. No good for you in this arena. So with that said, thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video. Oh, and if you give me a thumbs up and subscribe, that'd be helpful. Thank you. Bye-bye.